You wear a lot of stress, and I've definitely felt that of late. I mean, we had planning refusal on Manor Road. We had planning refusal on our pre-commencement conditions on Tool Line, which meant we couldn't start. We then got refusal on our sui generis HMO going 6 to 7 on our project 11, and it all just gets on top of you. Hi guys, welcome back to the EL3vate Series. This is episode number 5, and before we start I'm going to apologise because I haven't done an episode for a few weeks, and the reason for that is I contracted COVID, so I was in bed for a week, and then I went away on my summer holiday to Greece. We went to Corfu for a week, and then I was playing catch up. When you have 2 weeks off, there's stuff you need to do, so didn't do a video in the last 3 weeks. But I'm going to document this week, and to be honest, loads has happened, so I'm going to take you through what's been happening, the good, the bad and the ugly, and I must admit there is lots to go through. So stick with me and I'll tell you all about it. So before I start by telling you what we've been up to, I'm just going to let you know that on the 4th of September we are running our next HMO Tour event where you can come down, see 2 live developments, and also we're going to do a further afternoon of education. We've got some guest speakers, we've got Ashton Property, and also we've got Aaron and Ellis from A&E Property over in Kent doing some high-end HMOs. Those guys are going to be talking about social housing, HMOs. Aston's got 26 HMOs, all with social housing, and he's going to be talking about how to raise finance. And also, he's going to be talking about his experience with social housing HMOs. And Aaron and Ellis are going to be talking about some super high-end HMOs and how to stay competitive in quite a tough market. So if you want to come along to that, you can buy tickets. I'll put the link in the description. Lunch is included. We've got coffees, teas, networking. It's going to be a great event. So I would recommend coming along, and I'll see you there. Works have commenced on Manor Road. So the plan here is, got to clear the gardens initially. Well, it's just overgrown, there's trees, bushes. We're basically going to clear everything. Low maintenance, keep a bit of greenery. So yeah, we're finally starting works here. This is probably sat vacant for 4 months, maybe 5 months since we bought it. It's time to start work. The standard day, so there's some lights on in here which need to make sure they're off. It don't smell as bad now, does it? I'm looking forward to properly ripping this out. This will feel massive. Gut all that out. Speaking to the council as well about keeping this as a self-contained disabled access. Yeah. So this whole studio, this was meant to be like a sensory room and then a bedroom, but this could be like a whole disabled sort of like studio. Get access directly off the car park.
Could you make any more car park spaces if you need them here?
Potentially. God, it's a lot of work in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've said 200 grand here, but...
Do you know what it is? Because it just keeps going on. It's
so much of it, yeah. I mean, if you think 160 on Hoyington and then you consider this.
Oh.
I mean, even if it's 250, I wouldn't want to be in it for any more than 750, but...
What'd you pay?
475. Plus the stamp and legal's 5, 250 on the conversion, yeah, 750. Should get a mil valuation though on that lease, but Maybe even more, 1.2.
Should be, yeah.
Obviously C2, so it's a bit of an unknown. Bit of an unknown.
It's just, I think it's the sheer size of like.
Because obviously we've never had a C2 valuation, I don't know how they'll value it in terms of yield, how they'll look at it.
Do you know anybody that has?
Based on that income, you'd probably get a £1 million valuation.
Got to be, ain't it?
So just, you know, as long as they look at it in the same way, you'd imagine it'd be circa 1. So guys, just a little update on this property. As you know, this is our C2 care home that we bought probably about 4 or 5 months ago, and we put it in for planning to turn it into an 11-bed sui generis HMO. That planning application was actually refused, and the reason for that is there's a department within the council called Adults and Communities. They believed that there was a demand for this type of facility in the borough. So with that in mind, we spoke to the council following the refusal, and we said, well, look, if you've got a need for the property, let's renovate it and we'll rent it back to the council on like a 5 or 10 year lease. So we're currently in those discussions. It looks like they're going to take the property on, as I said, on a 5-year lease on a quite a strong weekly rent, and it's going to be to house like supported, they call it supported accommodation. So it's going to be basically 18 plus sort of young adults that have been in foster care, they've got learning difficulties, maybe asylum children that have been in the UK for many, many years, and they've been through sort of the care system, and they just need somewhere to live as a young adult now. So that's the sort of demographic that's going to be living here. So we're quite excited about that. It's obviously a different tenant profile in terms of what we're offering locally, and actually it feels like we're giving something back to the community, especially when there's need of that type of property. So yeah, I'm quite excited by it. So the council haven't come back yet and confirmed, giving us the full green light, but the plan is obviously we're going to start works now. We've probably got about 3 months worth of work anyway, and then obviously once she's good to rent, obviously we'll then lease it to the council. But the idea is that to get the council on the hook, we're going to get them to sign a lease agreement, date it in the future, and then basically we'll just deliver the project, then hand them over the keys when we're finished, and that'll be that. So yeah, I'll keep you updated on this one, but yeah, it's great to finally find an end tenant for it. They say the property's like a bad haircut, like eventually works itself out in the end. Yeah, and this one's finally worked itself out, hopefully. But yeah, that's the update. C2 care home. Pretty house. So just stopped off at Valkcari on the way through, and the boys are carrying out some work here. So we've replaced the fence panels on the side just because it was all falling down, all overgrown. And actually we're amending the front here just so we can accommodate some more parking spaces. So we're going to take out the wall at the front and basically just feather that drop in just so we can get a few more cars on the front. But this is a block of 4 flats which I own. Bought this really well looking back, 630 grand, and we're just looking to get it refinanced. I think it's probably worth 850 without any works being carried out. Well, minimal work, should I say. But as you can see there, the boys have just replaced all of the fence. That was all overgrown. We have actually got planning on this to turn this into a 12-bed HMO. Plans actually show part single, part double story rear extension, take the roof off, and make it over 4 floors, but it's quite a lot of work involved. It's probably a 300 grand job. Not sure if we'll do that. As I said, they're rented now to the council for emergency housing. We get really strong rents across all 4 flats. And actually, if you look at what we generate now in income versus the HMO, taking into consideration the spend of 300 grand, it actually doesn't make much sense, but it's a nice asset to own. So fence is looking good. The grass needs a bit of love though, doesn't it? One of the flats has actually just become empty, so this one here. So we do actually have to go in there and do a little bit of a tidy up before the council will take it. Can't beat a fresh fence, can you? Looks tidy. So finally, some good news. Yesterday we had our prior approval application granted, which allows us now to convert our commercial to residential conversion into 4 high-end flats in the city centre of Southend. And I'm really looking forward to it because it's a little bit different. Obviously done a lot of HMOs over the last couple of years, and the developments have become a little bit samey. The boys, the build team want to be doing a little bit different, and so do I. And to be honest, I see this as a step forward in, levelling up in the world of commercial to residential conversion, where I think there's a lot of opportunity. So I'm looking forward to getting started on this development in the coming weeks. This is project number 30. As I said, 4 1-bed flats, GDV of about 800 grand. bought the property for 375. So the idea is we're going to convert this for roughly about 180 grand. I mean, that is the hope. Whether it happens or not is a different question, but that is the plan. So this is project 30. If you want to keep updated on this project, make sure you follow and subscribe.
Let's go.
We're back, baby.
We back.
Yeah, I was actually offered that property the other day down the same street as our one. It's 3 little flats, a quite small flat, circa 20, 25 square meters, so not ideal really, but yeah, they wanted 500 grand for that, 3 flats. So that's what I'm also benching our valuation on. Not that I think they'll get that, I think they could put that in auction now for 400 grand. Be interested to see what they get on that, because again, I can use that as a bit of a benchmark to what we are going to get on our development, even though our developments can be much better. We've got sort of 43 to 52 square metre flats. It's just a nicer building, better outlook. Yeah, so be interested to see what they get, but let's go to auction. Don't know when that is, but it's soon. Yeah, it's going up for 400, so if that sells nearer towards 5, that would be interesting. Oh, I just had a missed call from Leanne on the old lettings. Let's see what she wants. Hopefully some good news. Hopefully some rent. So 2 bits of bad news that we've had recently. 2 of our planning applications for our sui generis HMOs have been refused. So that's going from 6th to 7th bed, which is a full application. Those 2 properties are already C4, so they're already 6-bed HMOs, but our full applications for the 1 additional bedrooms were refused, and that is because the council are being massively critical of these larger HMOs in the city centre at the moment, pending the changes to the local plan, which is coming in, which will likely see Article 4 in this area, which will restrict the development of HMOs. So we've got to go to appeal on 2. We're confident that we'll get them because the houses meet policy, but it is a little bit frustrating. So the plan is we're going to refinance as 6 beds with our lender at 80% loan to value, which obviously will help us recycle that capital back out. And then we'll go to appeal for the 7th bedrooms. When they come in, we've got a few options. We can do a further advance on the mortgage to get a bit more money out, or we can just leave it on a lower loan amount. So that's where we're at. This is the stance that people are taking at the moment, or not people in general. It's the planning department in Southend. They just don't want HMOs. So this is what we're doing. We've got to adapt and evolve. Hence why we're doing the 4 flats, project 30, rather than a 9-bed HMO. And actually, yeah, I like the idea of scaling up, doing a few different strategies, and actually I see much more potential in commercial to residential. So that's the way I think we're going to go. And I'm going to be talking about that at the HMO Tour on the 4th of September. So if you haven't got a ticket, make sure you've got a ticket. 149 quid, come spend the day with me, see 2 projects. We've got Aston property coming down. We'll be talking about raising private investor finance. He's raised tens of millions to build a property portfolio of 26 HMOs of social housing, which generates 50 grand of net rent every month. We've got A&E property, Aaron and Ellis, talking about their experience in building out a high-end, super high-end. I mean, they're putting mini pitch and putts and gyms in their HMOs over in Medway, and they're going to be talking about how they differentiate themselves in a very competitive market. So if you do want to come for the day, the link is in the description. Buy a ticket and I'll see you on the day. So again, large kitchen, I think it's about 26, 27 square meters, freshly plastered. I think the boys have screeded the floors. Well, part screed, part ply. The kitchen comes Monday. Howden's kitchen comes Monday. We're pretty much fully plastered now. I actually haven't been down here for a couple of weeks, so it's good to come and see the progress. Nice. Finally got the window, which the council said was a poor outlook and lack of light, which is just absolutely nonsense because you're overlooking the garden. This is essentially what we're up against. So yeah, we've also removed the porch and we've pushed our external to here. So this is now going to be where the front door is. So that's a much better design. Shower trays are in. The boys reckon they'll be finished in 3 weeks. Hell of a way to go. So I've just come out of a meeting with our lettings team, and I'm not going to lie, the lettings have been quite slow over the past few months. We've been getting inquiries but not really getting the uptake on the room, and the only reason I can put that down to is there's more supply in the local area. So it has been slightly more challenging. At one point we had about 7 or 8 rooms empty, which, as you can imagine, if our average room rent is about £800 a month, it's obviously a lot of money that we're leaving on the table if the rooms aren't rented. But definitely over the last few weeks, we've implemented a few changes, dressed the rooms, we've brought the rates down slightly and just been a bit more proactive in trying to get the rooms rented. And I can say that it's great. Got 3 or 4 rooms gone, and we've got loads more inquiries and lots of viewings coming in. So hopefully we'll have the occupancy rate back up where we want it to be, higher 90%. It's where we like to be, don't like to have many voids. But yeah, really, really good couple of weeks on the lettings, or certainly last week, to get a few rooms away. So I think we've got about 3 rooms available. So yeah, hopefully by next week we'll be fully let, but definitely been more challenging. I just think it's been, I don't think it's our area specifically. I think lettings have been slow just generally across the country. I've seen it in other areas where, rooms are hanging about and people having to drop their rates to get the rooms rented. But definitely there's been a surge in supply in sort of high-end rooms where we operate. So yeah, it's just a little bit more challenging. You've got to do things to differentiate yourself in the market and just stand out from the crowd. So yeah, we're putting a few things in place and it seems to be working. So happy days. Hi guys, so I'm on my way to do a viewing. It is a mixed use, I believe. So part resi, part commercial in Southend. It's a local developer that's selling it. They're going through the planning process to get planning for a 14-bed HMO, but they want to offload it rather than build it out. And they've offered it to us, which is quite a nice position to be in, because obviously given the impending changes, as I've said already, to the local planning policy regarding HMOs, they're very, very against large HMOs in the city centre at the moment. But the fact is, if the vendor can get planning approval and we can buy it with full planning in place, then obviously it's a great deal for us. I'm not too sure what the numbers are, but yeah, I'm going to take a look at it now and I'll take you with me, show you about. So I realise I've been quiet of late, and the reason for that is, this game is difficult development. You have loads of challenges, loads of stresses. A lot of the time, you're trying to overcome these issues on your own, especially if you work on your own. Sometimes you've got JV partners which you can bounce off, but yeah, you wear a lot of stress, and I've definitely felt that of late. I mean, we had planning refusal on Manor Road. We had planning refusal on our pre-commencement conditions on Tool Line, which meant we couldn't start. That then got pushed back for 2 months. We then got refusal on our sui generis HMO going 6 to 7 on our project 11. We also got refused on our same planning application going from 6 to 7 on our project number 199. And it all just gets on top of you. And I think it's very, very difficult when you're stressed, you've got a load on, to then put a camera in your face and obviously shoot a load of content. So I'm being honest, that's sort of where I've been at. But what I would say is things are now looking up and we are back. There's some good news. We've put in a couple more planned applications to sort of overcome the objections of the 6 to 7 bed HMOs. We are now speaking to the council, as I mentioned in the earlier on in the video, and they're looking to take the property, the care home, the C2 property, for supported accommodation, so 18 plus care leavers, which feels really, really good. We're discussing rates on that at the moment. I haven't had the green light yet, but I'm pretty sure they will take that. So again, that's a real big positive. And today we've just had our pre-commencement conditions granted. So that's the tool line. So we can actually now get going on that one finally. And actually my investors just cleared the development loan, or it was actually a bridging loan on that site. So I've just transferred the best part of almost 400 grand to West One Loans to clear the loan. So now we can just start building it out unencumbered. So yeah, we're in a really, really good position. The academy's doing really, really well. I think there's about 150 people in the academy now. And yeah, like everything is looking up. So I definitely feel less stressed. Have had a holiday, so always helps. But no, things are looking really, really good. You know, the pipeline's so strong, finishing off the 7-bed HMO. We've also now got the C2 9-bed care home. We've also now got the 12-bed HMO for tool line. And also we've got planning accepted. Our prior approval was granted for the 4 flats on project number 30. All is looking up. And yeah, we've got some good days ahead of us. Keep watching, EL3vate's back. When the sun's out in Southend, you could be anywhere in the world.
Is that Miami?
Is that Miami? Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, we have just agreed heads of terms for probably one of our biggest deals to date. Different location, circa 6,000 square foot. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't want to give it away, but it is the most stunning building. We've been throwing it around with the vendor, which is a charity, for about 2 months. We finally agreed heads of terms and we are now entering into contract on that one. Our plan is to do, you've got some cool ideas, maybe like 20 emergency housing, sort of self-contained units. It's quite a big plot, so can maybe demo part of the building, build blocks of flats. We've got loads of options. As I said, different areas, so looking forward to that. Going to get out Southend and push into some different areas, so really excited about that. Yeah, so obviously I'll let you know more about that. As soon as we're getting into contract, I'll tell you more about that. It is a subject to deal, so we're putting down a 5% deposit. We only buy it if we get planning for our preferred scheme. So we're doing that because we don't have any PD rights and we just want to obviously mitigate our risk. The purchase of the property is about 800 grand, so it's obviously a lot of money. Don't want to be buying that if we haven't got some form of planning in place. So really excited about that. That is it's good news. I've actually also put in another offer as well. It's a big house which has been converted to 2 flats, and yeah, we're going to try and convert that under permitted development and yeah, get around all this nonsense with planning. Yeah, this is the thing about property, got to constantly be evolving. You know, if the game changes, you've got to adapt and evolve. You've got to find ways around, and that is what makes a good investor or a good developer. Constantly jumping hurdles, finding out how to rework the strategy or even change the strategy altogether. So that is what we're doing. That's what we're doing.